Being relatable because you understand authenticity as a heart-centered coach and the role it plays in your business is one thing, but it doesn't necessarily get you a wait list of clients desperately excited to want to work with you. In this world where there are thousands, literally thousands of people starting a profile online on any of the platforms, some of them self-proclaimed 17-year-old coaches, most of them calling themselves coaches but are only in it for the money, not really to make a real impact on the world. And let's not even talk about the people who don't really care about any sort of relatability or authenticity, and they're just gonna churn out thousands, if not millions, of content pieces using AI. What truly matters beyond relatability that many social media managers or messaging coaches will never tell you is resonance. So if you want to discover the exact formula that gets your soul client to land on your page, whatever platform you're creating on, look at your content and say, oh, his content makes me feel like home. I need his coaching program. Then we've got to talk. I've built authority in 2 businesses over the 5 years that I spent creating online, and nothing, and I mean nothing, helped me escape becoming a full-time content creation machine more, attract clients that feel easy and effortless to work with because there's that co-creation happening, and have the luxury of raising my prices and charging for my worth more than creating content that's resonating with the right people, with the way I communicate, I educate, and speak to my soul client so they get one step closer to that decision when they finally say, I'm in. Where's the payment link? So let me break down this strategy to you. So I've been a messaging coach for over 3 years, using all my studies around language acquisition, neurolinguistics, and everything I've learned about subconscious communication, because I spent so many years constantly creating content that even got great results. Like, it got likes and engagement, people kept signing up for my newsletter, but I was really struggling to use my content, my emails, to actually convert and bring in people that feel a lot more effortless to work with because we are aligned. And they're not the type of clients who give up after like 2 sessions or can't commit to show up for the sessions, for the work in an entire 3-month container. And here's the brutal truth. If you've been posting for over 6 months, trying to be as consistent as you can, because you might have your own family to take care of, your own job to work in, other engagements and hobbies. You may have connected and converted a client or 2, but you want enough clients to either quit your 9 to 5 or build up that coaching program to start scaling beyond the usual 5K or 10K. And you might have even bought social media courses on how to actually create social media content. But your DMs are filled with more ghostwriters and website designers and VAs constantly cold pitching their offers rather than clients asking, how can I work with you? You might overlook one of the most important parts in your content, in your messaging ecosystem that gets people to say, I want to work with this guy. It's that it's virtually impossible for your soul client to see that you and your offer are the ultimate solution to their problems if they can't see themselves throughout your messaging. They might be saying, but Chubby, I've done all the work. I've laid down the details of my ICP and I've come up with all the problems that I'm solving and the solutions that my offer helps them with. I've done all the shit, like everything that's available under the sun. I still have no idea how to build a system that converts people through my content. I'm going to be challenging you with this one critical question. Am I creating content that informs, just like all the other, like 97% of coaches, or am I creating content that reveals to my soul client what they don't know that they don't know? And I'm saying 97% because this has been going on for a really long time, and I talk about this in a previous video. You can check this out and the entire philosophy that I built my messaging membership around. But the truth is, many people keep informing. They keep churning out the how-tos, the strategies, the frameworks that you should be doing this, you don't need to do this stuff, instead of focusing on going beyond that education, type of content that makes everyone sound like everybody else. I'm not saying we aren't supposed to educate our audience. Of course, there are so many things our audience needs to know before they decide to invest in our coaching program. But many times those content pieces that most disconnected creators create are more like those self-help books that you and I might have spent years reading. I don't know about you, but I spent, I think, about 3 years. I had this 3-year era where I spent all my free time reading like Ryan Holiday and Florence Kovoshin, Bernie Brown, but I still didn't feel like I was less of a perfectionist, or that my money mindset was healing, or that my life was changing in any way. And it's because books are just simple information. They don't really help us see what we lack, let alone help us commit to the process of transforming our lives. Most content is designed for consumption because so many creators are obsessed with getting the views and the likes and the engagement and the saves that they forget a content piece is supposed to be part of a bigger ecosystem that consistently converts people. And when I say convert, I don't mean you post a video, you're gonna make $100,000 from that one video that gets to be seen by like 20 people. Conversion simply means someone takes the next step, whether it's signing up for your freebie, buying your low ticket offer, or any other thing that your content prompted them to do. Inside Impact, my messaging membership for purpose-driven coaches, we refuse to add more noise to the already super noisy and loud online space, and we exclusively focus on content pieces that are part of a bigger system that converts beyond just sharing how you've done something, how you tell people what they should be doing, or sharing random stories. So if your content only focuses on the surface level strategies, and they all have their own role, like I'm not against talking about our own journey or sharing really impactful stories, they have their own role, but they still don't remove what's at the core of what prevents the sale, which is something you can find another video about that I made earlier. People might say, thank you so much for sharing this. This is incredible value, or you made my day, but they will go on about their lives, changing absolutely nothing. What's worse, you're not only overwhelming people, telling them what else they should be focusing on, what else they are not doing, keeping them trapped in that shame loop, and we know that no one can actually make a powerful, empowered decision out of shame. You're completely missing the point of why they are stuck and the type of content that aligned entrepreneurs create so the sale actually happens. And the type of content is what we call revelation content in my space. It's the type of content that gets people to say, oh my God, you're exactly describing what I'm going through. How do you know this? Do you have a camera in my house? How do you read my mind? This is terrifyingly accurate. And here's the secret. This entire video has been designed as a revelation content for you to show you an example. I've been speaking very specifically and accurately about specific problems you might be having, and speaking to one specific audience, heart-led, purpose-driven coaches, which is probably the reason you still keep watching this video. The concept of revelation is simple, but there's a framework for this, something that I've created over the last couple of years through my neurolinguistics, subconscious communication, and applied linguistic studies. I know I can geek out on communication. I'm that type of guy and that obsessed. Because we want to consider how people process information when we are communicating to them. So inside Impact, we simply eliminate the empty statements and the information-based how-to stuff, which again might get all the acclaim, all the engagement, but doesn't actually help people or invite someone to say yes to transforming their lives. So inside Impact, we eliminate all the need for statements and empty claims and explanations which speak to the logical part of the mind. Again, people overlook this. They swipe past, they might look at it, like it, engage with it, but they move on. It doesn't invite people to change something about their lives. And then we laser focus on speaking to people so specifically and accurately so that we get to describe to them what they are going through, what they are currently aware of, which many times isn't the concept that we talk about, but their current habits and destructive behaviors. So instead of a weak statement like, yeah, it's so important for coaches to build demand in their content, which everybody would say, yes, sure, 100% agree, like I couldn't have said it better, it's so important, but 80% of those commenters actually aren't building demand for their offers. I'd go for something a lot more specific and say, if you haven't mentioned your offer or made a reference to your frameworks and systems that you teach at least 3 times in your content every single week, and 80% of your content is just random storytelling, motivational posts and information instead of getting to the core of what prevents your ideal client from getting results, shifting their beliefs, you're actively destroying demand for your offer and expect your soul clients to just get it. So what's preventing so many disconnected creators to create content like this? And I think this is a twofold problem. The first one is that they are learning from social media gurus and strategists that focus a lot more on like gain followers and get the engagement and get all the comments and all the acclaim and celebration by your followers. And then those creators end up building a following of a few thousand people, a few hundred, but none of those actually become potential buyers because of the type of content that they are learning from these gurus. And the second one is fear of failure. And can I tell you how many coaches talk about the same shit? They are super generic beyond measure. So no wonder soul clients can't be resonating with them, because everybody's talking about, yes, just be happy, yes, be disciplined, yes, focus on your body, regulate your nervous system to get better results. People don't resonate with generic stuff. And if your content doesn't make people say, how are you in my head? Or thank you so much, you've changed the way I look at things, your content is most probably dangerously generic. So if you want to stand out beyond just being authentically yourself and with your unique set of gifts and experiences and everything else that you're passionate about, and be relevant and resonating to your soul client, and be relevant and resonating to your soul client, all we need to do is focus on creating the right content that actually speaks to their soul, that invites them to take that next step. So they sign up for a newsletter, they get your low ticket offer or anything else you want them to do, and be uncomfortably specific and accurate in your messaging. That doesn't come from an overnight experiment. It's gonna come through testing, by focusing on the right metrics, seeing what works, what doesn't, and following the framework I've just shared. And if you want to learn more about this, you can check out the entire framework inside my membership. Not only is it important to create the right type of content, the things that I've just mentioned today and in all my other videos that you can still binge watch, look at, learn from, and implement, but also building the muscle of experimenting, looking at failure as compost to your soil that you get to work with, see what works, what doesn't. This is precisely why in my membership we go beyond just strategy and frameworks and focus on rewiring your money stories, understanding your relationship with money, with sales, with being seen, and help you overcome your fear of failure, your fear of judgment, without having to sell your soul or come across as salesy or needy in your messaging. So if you're ready to create high impact content designed to attract premium dream clients that you would love working with, inviting them to reach out to you so you generate consistent DM inquiries from the right people without spending hours on content creation that gets lost in the sea of all the other content out there, DM me the word convert on Instagram right now. There's gonna be a link to my Instagram profile in the description below. I will personally show you how my membership will help you build a content strategy that will help you create content for coaches that converts, showcase your unique set of skills, passions, and gifts, and build unstoppable subconscious demand for your offer so you have a wait list of clients excited to want to work with you without constantly, desperately cold selling like everybody else. Let me know your biggest takeaway from this video. Did you learn anything new that you can start implementing? Because I'm still learning. This is like my, 8th or 9th video here, and I'd love to hear some feedback. So do let me know if you have any questions, something you want me to keep talking about, to dive deeper into, and see you in another video.